lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole first row is reserved. So.
Yeah, the first row. Those are the people that are afraid that you're going to say something about them. Your fly's done, sir. We were talking about that last night. You know, a lot of people just, while we're killing time, while we're waiting for the time to be.
All right.
Every night before I would go on stage, same to you, every night before I went on stage, I would have this woman that checked me before I went out that would say XYZ. What's that stand for? Anybody? Right. That's important, believe me. Especially Red Sullivan, you go right here on our stage and your zippers open this.
I didn't hear what he said.
What's this?
It's a bow. Not for anything I brought.
Like some little puppet is walking around without a proper tuxedo.
Welcome to the raffle.
With a little tiny thing missing.
Informal attire.
Yeah.
And it's ruined because he doesn't have.
God. All right. Are we starting or we're not starting?
We can start. Start. Close that door.
We closing the door?
Yeah. People can come and go as they choose.
Ready to start?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
You ready,
why
Bob?
not? Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
I'm dressed up.
Yeah.
Yay, thank God. Oh wow, we get everybody in. I get Phil to take pictures and everything. Gosh. Golly gee, Batman. Are we not shutting that door or no? We got the guy that has the most.
She's letting a few.
Okay. We can wait. You have a Tin shirt? Who now even knows who that is?
I do. I do.
Well, yeah, obviously you have the shirt on.
It was a gift, but then I found out what it was about.
Oh.
It's a re-gift.
When I was a kid, I couldn't be a Boy Scout, so I used to get Boy's Life and read about it. That was as close as I got. But in that Boy's Life magazine was Tintin, and it was a continuing comic strip. But that magazine came out like once a month, so you're like excited about what happens next, and by the time the magazine comes out, you don't remember what happened last. It's kind of rough.
Let's introduce everyone. That's
Okay.
what we're doing here.
Oh, this is Landon Harvey,
Hello. I've seen on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that jazz.
and he makes puppets, really good puppets. Yeah, he made all these that are behind us now.
Landon, how old are you?
I will be 21 come November.
Just a youngster
Oh,
compared to this old guy.
yes.
Yeah, and I'm not
That's why
trying
we
to
make a good contrast.
Santa. How many Santas do we have today?
Not as many as we usually have.
Required 3. That's it.
We left some at the North Pole. Santa, bevy of Santas.
So this
All
is
right.
character creation, puppet to personality.
Oh, we just get to know who you are. Nobody has, I don't get an introduction. Or
Oh, well, everyone knows you already.
oh,
You-
they do.
Raise your hand if you don't know Bob already.
Hello?
Oh my goodness.
All right. Bob, who are you? In one sentence, describe yourself.
I'm a Rumba.
All right. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no, I'm the original one. There's no other fake ones running around as far as I know. Are you guys all coming in, or are you gonna act like you're coming in and just like your arm is like there?
I have one of those little round vacuum cleaners. It's called a Rumba. And I named it Bob.
That's nice.
And it really sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and he sucks. I knew that was coming. Okay. And a woman with love stripes on. Oh, wonderful. All right, so this is how this happened. Every year you come to this convention and you buy a puppet. Like most people buy a puppet every year. And they look and they go in the other room and they look for a puppet. Oh, what puppet can I buy? Oh, look, this is nice. Then they have to figure out the voice for the puppet, that they don't know what he sounds like, they just buy him. They have to figure out, not after the voice, like what he does for a living or what he's doing or what personality, anything. All those things. What would happen this is better, and I've done it, and there's proof behind it. What happens if you think of the character ahead of time, and you have the voice in your head already, and you think, gee, I wish I had something that looked like this and matched the voice that I already have. You know what? You're ahead of the game then, because it's all yours. It's not somebody else's. You didn't have to buy something that's rubber or something else. 5 other guys had the same thing. It's just yours, only yours. So you go to a guy like him and you say, Landon, I thought of this idea and I have this voice and I want to do it. And he says, I can do that, because that's what he usually does. Sure, I can make that. So then you tell him what you want to do and he comes up with it. And he do a sketch first.
Do a sketch.
He said
Get the character down, the defining qualities of the character. Is it, you bring out the puppet before he even says a word. What do you want? You want the audience to laugh, but why are they laughing? Does it look angry? Does it look goofy like this zombie Bill here? Is it cute like the dog? Is it menacing like that other dog? And we get that where we want it, and then we go and we make the puppet.
Right. So that's what this is about. So somebody might have something here, or we might be able to show you what we came up with already. But we only have like 45 minutes, so we're going to try to do as many as possible within that amount of time. So, which one do you want to start off with? Do you want to start off with one of these, or should I just start off with my dog?
You start off with your dog, 'cause that was kind of what started all of this, actually.
Yeah, actually.
And you'll probably want to have to set up the story too. 'Cause it's
There's a guy in Disney World that worked here for over 30 years. His name was Wally Bogue. Wally Bogue.
Oh, yeah.
Wally Boo.
Wally Bogue worked in the Horseshoe Saloon forever. And his act was so good that Disney, when he retired, Disney paid him for his act and they paid him to teach it to other people. And a lot of people didn't know it because Wally did balloons, and he did balloons back in the day before they had the long thin ones. He was using the 350s, the 360s that were, and those are what the guys on Ed Sullivan and everybody used back then.
John
It
Shirley.
would take him like, John Shirley, I was good friends with John, and it would take him like, I don't know how many balloons to make a stick dog. You know what I mean? So because they're so big. Anyway, Wally also was a ventriloquist. So when he retired, he brought that back. And he came up with a dog that my guy who was going to be taking his place in the show could use. So I was with Scott Land in Vegas doing voices, and I said, can I use, he had one of those dogs because he used to work for Disney.
They did like
Land.
walk around with it. Yeah.
What's that?
It was in the show, but they did like walk around entertainment with it.
Yeah, in Disneyland. And then he had this puppet that was done in 1973. Now I'm doing this lecture and he said I could use it, and it was really great. Here's the problem with it. It was made for walk around and had like a fake arm on it. So anytime the person wanted to see the mouth move, you had to tip the head back. And it would go blah, 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 and then tip the head down. So I said to Landon, I want a dog like that. He said, nobody seems to be able to make them. I had other people try to make them, and they always make them sitting up like that, like they all sit up like a person. I wanted a dog that was like a dog, like this. So
he actually is entering through the side of the puppet,
right.
so that when he performs with it, he can stand to the side of the puppet and have it sit perched up like a dog,
Like a dog.
or have him all sprawled.
Yeah, so that's how it works. Yeah, I feel the same way. Anyway,
So that's what it is.
But you had, so Bob was doing, you had the Tony Urbano dog at the Scotland lecture,
Right.
and you were performing with it, and you were doing a lecture on voices, and you found a voice where you got this connection and you got this character that you built up. By the time that you talked to Scott Landing and they sold it to Copperfield or something for his collection. So you
Right.
wanted something similar to it, but where it was still your own, that you could put in your show, because you had that character already made and defined, and you knew how you were going to bring it to life on stage.
yeah,
Sure.
So my idea was, and I do it now where I can tell stories, and he can be to the side of me and down or just there. Because dogs don't always talk. do they? So now I can tell stories. You can just sort of interject when I wanted to. So I'm not doing the seesaw effect of what ventriloquists do, which is I tell key talks, I tell key talks, I tell. So I changed that.
Yeah, with me, he did. Hey lady, can I sniff you? Cut it off. Just a little?
No. Anyway, that's what he's good for, and it's really pretty cool. Can I show him how you did this?
Yeah, sure. That's what we're here for.
So, when you travel, now this looks really big, and you go, gee, how would I pack that in a bag? So, what happens is, he has this, if you look at it from the side, this ring,
It's got a neck.
it's got a
Ring
ring
to
to
it.
it, it's gonna come out. So when you pack it, it all goes in, so you can put it separate.
Mm-hmm,
And
exactly.
sometimes it's depending on how your bag is.
Treat it like a, yeah.
This might fit better next to it than it does all together.
Or, in my case, like when I flew here with Bill and Jackie, I treated them like hard figures, and
Yeah.
I brought their heads on the plane with me.
Right, so this goes,
You could do that too.
you squeeze this, it goes right back in.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're ready to rock. And then all you have to do is run that up here. And actually, this is easier than going way up the back or whatever too, but I don't know if anybody really wants something to sit like that. I did though, but so that's kind of how it works.
Where's the bathroom?
You don't know how to use the bathroom.
Yes, I do. I need a drink of water.
Anyway, that's about it for him.
Yeah.
And I patterned him after Pat Buttram from Green Acres,
Yeah, the voice.
Hey, Mr. Douglas, there's a few things here I think you might be interested in. And it's one of those things that after you do it for a while,
It sort of turns into its own voice.
so it's kind of like him, but it's not him. And that's why when I do impressions and teach people about voicing, different voices, that's part of the deal because it doesn't have to be exactly the same unless it's one that you had made that looked like that person or something. I mean, it could just sort of evolve into what it ended up being.
Yeah, that's true. So after I was invented, then where did you make next?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm looking at it here. What was it? Was it Jackie?
Which Jackie was
I think it was, yeah. So I wanted, I think we all start off with most of us start off with the cheeky boy figure. And I have that and still perform with it, and it does all right. But I wanted something that was unique and that was my own. And I was talking to Bob about it because I found this voice that I could do that was really strange. It was kind of my take on this voice I found from this guy doing it on YouTube. And
It comes from a real person. You just
it's the guy's real voice, and it's, hey, how you doing? Gotta be here. Ooh, look at that. They got tuna salad here. Okay. That's a cool voice. I need a puppet for that. And so I called Bob. And Bob, you and I have been known to talk for hours on the phone about
voices.
I'll ask him a question, and 8 hours later I'll get the answer. But we'll go over so many ideas. And you said you've never seen a jackalope done before.
Well,
I go, what?
I tried to have one made, and no one could make one.
No one could make it.
No one could make one because what happens is most of the time they get antlers too big.
Uh-huh.
You're not sure is it a deer with long ears? What is it? It's hard to hit. You hit like sort of a good medium there.
Right. So he's like, you should do a jackalope, and because that's unique, that's different. And so we patterned it after Bugs Bunny, Royal Rabbit, and then we just gave him horns. So if you look up the jackalope, he doesn't look like a jackalope. He looks like a cartoon version of a jackalope.
We did Ricochet Rabbit.
We did Ricochet Rabbit too. Yeah, we looked at that. So he's kind of an amalgamation of these different cartoons. But I built him, I did a few sketches, and I built him so that he was patterned after the voice. Hello there, sir. Good to see ya. It's not a toupee, is it? No, it's not a toupee. You sure? I'm sure. Okay. Hey, salmon, cheese. So, you know, getting the character down, and then of course I play him where he's a lot more rambunctious and high energy, and he opens my show. I do, right, yes. And it just really worked for me.
The first
and finding the
voice,
character.
the voice of the original guy, he was a big fat guy, so he talked slower. And you started to do that because you could do his voice on the mic.
Yeah, I copied it, yeah.
Can you do it? Can you do that voice?
It was like this, good to see ya. It was,
Yeah,
I don't even think I could go back and do it because I've
So-
changed it so much.
So what happens is, he starts doing TikToks. TikToks take you 15 seconds to a minute. So he's forced to go faster. So now, he speeds up the voice, and it's better, and it's entirely different than the original person.
It's phenomenal, fantastic, I love it, I'm glad. Good, yeah.
So that really works like his Groucho, really, because he's quick-witted, and he goes really fast.
Ain't that right, kid? Who's good?
Yeah.
He's my imaginary friend. You
Yeah.
talk to something that doesn't exist, so do you. Okay. Great. So yeah, so that's Jackie, and that's kind of, you know, taking you through the idea of it all.
Okay, so where did we go after that?
Where did we go after that? Well, we built some stuff for convention here, and I've got.
You want to talk about him last?
We can talk about him right now. We can talk about him last.
Okay. You want to do him next?
Yeah, that's fine. You can kind of introduce him.
This is Bill. Bill's a zombie that has some personal problems, and
I wanted to take. I like taking things that people are familiar with and flipping it to it. So you know, you see a zombie and he's usually scary or looks really weird and he's intimidating. I thought it would be funny to have like the underdog character, but he's a zombie.
Hi, my name's Bill. I'm a zombie.
Yeah.
I was on TV.
What show are you on?
I was on that show about those beings that are half human, always moaning, and in need of a brain.
let me get that for you.
Thank you. I need a hand.
Yeah, you do. So you're on the TV show, half human, always moaning and in need of a brain. What was that, The Walking Dead?
No, the Kardashians.
Okay. Yeah, so we built Bill here, and I started, you know, I did a lot of stuff because of COVID. Bill was created on TikTok. So I started performing with him and doing live streams and different videos on TikTok, and doing those videos allowed me, answering the questions from my followers on the platform, allowed me to grow his character, which is a great thing. Looking up different personality profiles, and Bob actually said, what is it, job resumes? Printing out job resumes
Right.
and filling them out from the perspective of your puppet is another really neat thing to do when you're creating an original character, because they've got questions on there that you would never think of for your own puppet.
The other thing about that is that when you have to fill out a resume about them, a lot of those things are things that people don't have to know, but you have to know where it came from, and that way your jokes are easier to come up with because you know where they came from, like how your character is thinking. Right? But the audience doesn't have to know that. It's for you to work, so you have something to work from, so you're not just out in space.
Yeah, it helps having some dimension to a character, you know, even if you have a boy puppet or whatever and everyone else does, having it, you know, maybe it's got more than one emotion, maybe he's mischievous, maybe he's angry, but you know, you can add layers to that in the act, and you can give it purpose, and then you can have, you know, even just having that information, you can, you know, take stock jokes and really make it seem like your own thing, because you've got that established character. You just keep walking around. I try to accommodate to you, and you just come back up.
Well, I can change my mind.
Bring around the roses. All right.
So, where are we going next? We're done with Bill.
It's like it's a
Oh, wait,
small
you
world
didn't
after
do-
all.
You didn't do all of Bill.
What do you mean?
All of Bill.
No, all of Bill. All of me. So he's met, or he falls apart during the show completely. He sings a little song. And we've got Maggie. So then I thought, you know, this is really weird. But what if he had a maggot pop out of his head? Hi, how's it going? That's Maggie. She's a maggot.
She lives in my head, rent-free.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm the secretary. Your secretary. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Yeah. So
Just for me, because I know I'll laugh, you have to do the fox.
you don't know I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
What does the fox say?
I do. So I do. When I perform, I do the song, what does the fox say, which was popular a few years ago. But I turn it. I do a parody, so it's what does the maggot say, and I end with it. So Maggie pops out and goes ring ding 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 ding, and then I put her away.
I think it's funny.
pops out and keeps going like that. And we have fun with it. And then of course he's also, you know, I trick all these out so he can get mad. He's got the moving eyebrows and all that stuff. And we can, you know, I work with the clients that I build for, and we build a bunch of fun features into him. That guy's got a Bigfoot there can get mad and all that. He's got a moving brow type feature. But yeah, creating something that when you bring it out, and what I love to do is everything's, you know, I do is a one-off, so you can't tell one puppet from another in terms of like, did Landon build that or not? So that way when I work with someone, you know, they really are getting an original design and something that they're going to be proud of when they put it into their act. So, you know, but you can go to whoever to build it, but the idea is that you're taking these principles and these ideas for creating a character, you know, the voice, the backstory. Rumba's constantly, he's a living cartoon, but he's inspired by cartoons a lot. And this was something I built last minute because he had the idea.
Well, after watching a cartoon.
And he said, he's like, Landon, I saw this cartoon where there was he wore a raccoon hat on his head, and the face of the raccoon popped out of the hat, started talking, and popped back in.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was from Beanie and Cecil. I think it was Davy Crackpot or Davy Cricket, something like that. So.
Davy Crockett?
No, it wasn't Davy Crockett. It's a play on Davy Crockett.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for going back in time to where you didn't want to be.
Okay.
You had to go. Anyway, it's all right. So anyway, so you made this. So it's the raccoon cap, but isn't it that a funny idea that if you
bring it up before, wear it as a hat, it'll already goofy, and
then you
get laughs, and then you pull him out,
yeah, he's all set.
and he's this goofy little character.
Where he's caught on his own head. There. So now, if you're working in places that are, what do you call those?
Theme parks?
Yeah, theme parks that are Western type of places.
Yeah, you could go there, you know. What do you think?
And you can decide what he's going to sound like because we don't know. So if you want to do other voices,
This would be the time to come up with them, I think.
I think since he's from the West,
I should be like that, Mickey. You know what I mean? Yeah, that'll do it. I think that would do it.
You could do that. You could have a nasally voice. You could do a lot of different things with him.
Yeah, do it.
You could put that's the neat thing too, is you could put eyelashes on an animal puppet and turn it into a girl, like really easy. You know?
Yeah, then you get to be a pronoun or something. Instead of what you really are. Be whatever you want to be. And I could be on somebody's, what is that kind of car that,
it's an aerial. I don't think people have antennas hanging off their car anymore, do they? No, so you can't really use it for that.
damn, I can't get a job there, can I?
No, you can't.
That's tough. Anyway,
Then you could do he's goofy looking. He could have been something that got cider that was a little older, maybe.
Well, you do the voice cracks too.
how you doing? Yeah, whoa, that's a good one. I like that. Whew. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty good. I like it. Kind of a voice. And I could get run over by a car and I can't even feel it. Yeah, that's the way to go.
What?
So yeah, you know, I thought that was neat. It's an original idea, and you know, taking something out of the ordinary. Also, you know, you have them set up on the stage so people just think it's a hat, and then you turn it into part of your act. Kind of fun. A neat way to do it. You can also do it with a bucket, having a puppet inside a bucket or something like that, and making it part of your stage setting. You know?
Yeah, one of them pickle buckets.
There you go.
There you go. And you're already pickled for when you get in it. Sorry, I gagged though.
Anyway, I like him though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so next.
Sing with us. Want to do questions? Have more questions, then kind of go back.
You know, they can ask questions whenever they want. We just keep going because they'll sit there like this.
How long have you been building puppets?
I've been building puppets since 2017. Yeah. And, I perform with them all the time, so I'm always updating them and the grips and finding different ways to make them, performer friendly and comfortable. So,
What else is over here? Anybody else?
we got Harry and Dick. We can show them.
Yeah, let's try Harry
Alright.
and Dick. This is Harry and Dick Dickerson. They were patterned after a comic that I grew up with, because I got my first album when I was 5 years old. My grandfather bought me an album of Eddie the Warrens. He was the old philosopher. Nobody knows everybody. He used to do 2 characters. One would be like way different than the other one, and they did cartoons like that and everything. So I thought it'd be funny if you have 2 guys like this.
Good to be here. Also.
Hey,
Hello there.
so, did you find the job that we could get?
I did, yep. We're doing plumbing services.
We're doing what?
Plumbing.
Well, that sounds better than when you got us alligator wrestling. I hated that.
It's your fault for making me book everything.
I guess so.
Gotta be somebody's fault.
That is a birthday gig on the weekend.
Doing what?
Ventriloquist. Oh,
Oh,
it'll be fun.
I guess so.
yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Harry.
Cool. You got it, Dick.
Okay. Harry and Dick Dickerson, that's us.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Harry.
Yep.
Okay, we got the plumbing job. What do we have to do?
Plumb something.
So we're making pies?
Sure. The problem is they got a plum stuck in their plumbing.
Uh-huh, that sounds easy.
Yeah, you just pull it out.
So, are you the one that goes underneath the sink?
Yeah.
Because those guys, you always see the crack of their butt, so I'll just pull your pants up all the time. And nobody has to see it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that's good.
Huh?
Right.
So the cool thing about an idea like this, is that there are these kind of goofy looking twins, and you can dress them up, have them kind of do any job or whatever. But you can have it where there's 2 performers, or there's 1 performer performing both of them, kind of going back in a bit. I always thought it would be interesting for, you see a lot of the pageant ventriloquists do kind of the same shtick. I think it'd be neat for them to, if they all are going to sing, maybe do something a little bit different and have different characters, talk about different subject matter. Doesn't have to be these guys, but taking something where maybe you've got 2 puppets in there, how they have a different relationship. Maybe it's a girl and her little dog, and then the ventriloquist is in the middle of it. Or maybe it's, the
Is your dog
ventriloquist.
alive?
I guess so. They're stuck in the plumbing. Ooh, yeah.
So, you're kind of making it a little bit different, changing up what's been done with that, and getting something that works and looks different and makes it, right, Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for a person that wants to do 2 at once, so we're perfect.
Yeah, you can perform with it
I
at
think-
once or whatever. Yeah. That's why we built these guys and just making them. I tend to build in all different types of sizes, but we built a little bit bigger so you can see it from afar.
We're
You
twins.
guys are really. Yeah.
Yeah, we were born at the same time and everything.
Identical twins.
Yeah,
Identical.
that's why I have to make sure our shirts are a little bit different so you can tell us apart.
Like to put on different costumes and fool people.
That's great.
That's a good one. What is that in there?
Oh, something that fell out of the plumbing. Oh.
What's it taste like?
Tastes like whatever stuck in my mustache.
Anyway, all right. So we got these 2 from-
Yeah. So we got these. You can get the Bigfoot. And we can do voices with it.
Could I have the taller pole?
Stretch them out a little bit. You want to talk about voices? Coming up with voices? Because I think that's, do a little bit on that.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I've heard you say some things that are really interesting.
Sure.
So you're inspired by like when he was inspired watching cartoons
Mhm.
and a particular voice or a particular situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you were inspired by somebody that you saw on YouTube or something, the voice.
Right, I found
So
voice
is
for
it
that.
usually something you hear or see that's different? Or how do you just take an abstract idea and make it?
Well, if you have an idea, it depends on the idea. Sometimes you're looking for something and you find it. Sometimes it just kind of happens. You know, you can take an idea and say, I want this character to be, you know, a grumpy kind of character, and typically you can come up with what you're going to do there.
So you just kind of look around at different sources, whether it's YouTube or TikTok?
Yeah, different sources. I have two younger cousins, and they're rambunctious, and they ask a lot of questions. They're very young, and I patterned Jackie off that, where he's like a kid. And so taking different elements and putting them, the voice from this guy who's in his 30s, he's a big fat guy, and taking that, giving it to Jackie, but then taking the energy and the wonder that kids have and putting that in the character, and then kind of going with the different flow with Bill, where he's this kind of whiny, low-life zombie.
Is there I guess I can't think of my question, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Is there a way you get there?
Bob?
Do you have a process for creating that character?
It's whatever you get, you have to get it from someplace. It comes from someplace. Do you ever wake up and you thought of somebody that you never met before, not somebody you want to marry or anything, I mean. But yeah, that happens. And then it's like Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo is based on Jim Backus's father. So a lot of people don't know that, but imagine growing up with a dad who walks around, oh my George, how are you talking like that all the time? So yeah, it has to come from someplace. Where does it come from? We should do some today. What else do we have here? We got him, we got these little guys.
Okay.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm floating. That's because you can fly, so I don't have to hold you on the bottom.
Well, I don't even have to move my wings. I'm flying. I am flying. Da, 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 da. Wow, this is great. Okay. You have any other voices for me that you want me to have?
Yeah, throw out voices, voice ideas.
These people have.
Super deep voice.
Are you afraid to talk to me? Am I scary looking?
Yeah, it's just a try.
Oh, it's a tie? Yeah, that's probably it. You've been drinking, I know. Spots. Okay, the deep voice?
Deep and slow.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. I've been taking off a long time, and I can fly real good. Real good. Okay.
Like
That's another good thing to note too, is sometimes, bringing out a character and having a voice where it's the total opposite than what you would do with it is great for comedy. It makes a great contrast.
It's a famous using it's a two-voice character, like Pee Wee Herman is two voices, so you're like,
Okay, so it's like that, then you switch to this one.
Oh, how nice.
so you can do that, so that works for him too.
Perfect.
Hey, nice to see you.
Ah, yeah, okay. So you could have two voices.
And then that voice, that turns into bunches of other voices, like,
Oh, Gertie Frog here.
see, it's all.
Ah,
What else is like that? Think of it.
yeah, there's a lot there. I think people are the most interesting insects on Earth, don't you? Where's my B-52 space modulator?
So Bob, if people want to have kind of be able to test out on their own when they're practicing their ventriloquism a few different voices to try to learn new voices, what advice do you have for them?
Well, one thing is, like, say you had this guy, you don't know what he should sound like. So you go with either what you think he looks like, you could do that voice. Is it funny to do that? Is it funny to do one that's the complete opposite of what he doesn't look like? So you have to figure that out. That's why he said do a deep voice. Yeah, because that's the first thing he thought of after he did one that's...
Sounds like that. Then you can go the other way. who cares? I don't care. What the heck?
So, and I always do characters with two voices. Popeye is like that.
Oh, it sounds like this, and then, then it's like, whoa, you need me spinach. I Popeye to say the man. Oh, because of the other one.
It's two voices, really. But it's one character. So you can think about that too. You don't have to stick with it. Or you do one that cracks.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, whoa, that's pretty good. I like that.
So, you know, when people are younger and their voices are starting to change, then their voice cracks. So it goes regular.
Like this, and then all of a sudden, it gets higher and it goes back. You don't have control over that, do you? Yeah, scene cut. Real bit of a scene, not much. Don't do that. Just peck it a little. Yeah, thanks.
Anyway, I think I like the idea of him not supporting him. I never thought of that before, so I had a bird on my hand. You don't have to support him, just have him. It could be like this even.
Hey, how's it going?
How long are you gonna talk to me?
I talk to you as long as I can stay up. Yeah, that works pretty good. I like it.
You can do that for a long time?
Oh yeah, real long time. Well, maybe not.
So yeah, I think that's funny. I just thought of that now.
Way to go, you're a friggin' genius.
What's that? Oh, you're gonna make me do him
You
too?
can do him, yeah. So I wanted to build something Bigfooty, and I built this guy. And you know, there's a lot of ways you could go with Bigfoot. He could be a Bigfoot social media influencer because he never had his photo properly taken right. You know, or he could be quiet, he could be outgoing, he could be in your face, he could be shy, pops out of the case, hides. You know, there's a lot of things to do with the mannerisms, just in the character, but the idea of the Bigfoot always intrigued me. And that's great too. Something that Jay Johnson does a lot is
Can take a picture.
I know.
he'll study like if you've seen his bit with the monkey character he uses, he's educating the audience as the puppet's doing the physical humor and interjecting along with him and creating the comedy within that. And that's fantastic, and that's another great way to do it, is to study up on, you know, if your animal's your character's a dog, or if it's something like this where it's weird like a Bigfoot, maybe you're educating your audience as you're going into your bit. And while you educate them, you lead into the comedy and the situation of it. And sometimes you can get some great facts that you're like, oh, well, with that fact, I can do this bit of physical comedy, or I can add a prop to it and have them do this.
I hate to tell you, but I have no idea exactly how you make this blank.
That's fine. It's a middle finger. I'll show you later. You just.
You wouldn't want to put your hand in there and do it yourself, would you?
I'll do it. No, I can do it.
Since you built it. I never had my hand in there once.
He frowns. I built it so he frown. But
See, he knows this stuff because he makes it. Then he hands it to me like, I know what he knows.
you just have every middle finger out, and then you have it. But the idea is that he can be happy, and then he looks at someone frowns. Frowns. Not like that. Kind of look around. But I love that. There's a lot of things you can add with just with the hair. You get a lot of emotion.
We have Bigfoot quotes Shakespeare, just for the juxtaposition.
Oh yeah.
I had some goals.
Yeah, you want to do that? You can probably do a better voice than me. That'd be fun. Here, it's a great idea.
I say it is a good thing I do. Then stayed in a horse all day. Yes, indeed. Do you like that? Is that a good horse for me or not? No, I think it is. It's a course.
And what voice is that? Does anybody know?
Richard Burton.
Huh?
Richard Burton, isn't it?
Nah, it's Ronald Coleman.
Ah, yes, of course it is. Fruit cereal, complete cardigan, garlands, Ah, yes, there they are.
Then you just a regular.
I say, oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, of course. In the forest. Nice herbal tea for you. That's good for you. You're not eating bad things or drinking bad things because they're all organic and natural. Try to act like you're having a good time, sir. You know you have gas. All right, then? Yes, indeed.
That's another thing. You see Bob here. This is the first time he's probably ever picked up that puppet. And he's just playing around with it. You can get some great ideas just from playing around with the puppet in the mirror or just, you know, toying around with it. And,
Well, people don't think about
go with
what,
it.
they think about what the puppet sounds like, but they don't think like, what is the puppet like in relationship to you? What is your relationship to that character? Like, the two of you have to hang out together. So, what happened to that? Yes, go ahead.
In that same vein, have you ever had a joke or a bit not work in one voice and work real well in a different voice?
That's absolutely true. But,
Can you elaborate?
well, sometimes a voice will make it as part of the character, and you tell a joke, and it doesn't seem like it's his joke, but it doesn't. Sounds like he would tell a joke like that. In another voice, it sounds like that's the way he talks, just normal, and it's part of his regular character, and you're more apt to laugh at that because it sort of fits in, you know.
Something similar to that. I had a chicken puppet that I used the whiny Bill the Zombie voice for before I created Bill, and it didn't work right for the chicken. And then a few years later, I created Bill, and it was a perfect fit. It like really worked, and then I performed it in front of audiences, and it worked really well. So I hand over here. Yes.
I love the Bigfoot puppet. It's
Oh.
really great.
Thank you.
There is actually a Bigfoot festival in Oregon.
Wow, we gotta go there with that right away.
Fantastic. Road trip. I don't know if I can get stuck in a car with a Rumba. I love that. All right.
What do they do at the Bigfoot Festival? Learn to say that really fast. Bigfoot Festival.
Music and, I don't know, I guess they love the Bigfoot. I don't know.
You ever see that guy online and he does sax quatch? He plays the saxophone. It's really funny. He's a good saxophone player too, but he's in a Bigfoot outfit going in the forest. Really funny.
For all we know, it's real.
You talking about him?
Yeah, let's talk about Vent the Mangler, because this is great. This goes back to your club days, Bill. I mean, Bob. Oh my God.
Back in the days when I worked in clubs, I had this stuff. I loved going back to cartoons. I loved Muttley. And I thought it would be great to have a puppet that looks like Muttley. But I didn't want him to be like, shut up, brother, and doing all that stuff. I wanted to be able to speak like regular sentences. So I came up with, ta-da, and it was, shut up. And he was just mean, always, and kind of tough with people. And in nightclubs, it was perfect. So I did it for a long time, and then I wanted to do them again, but the puppet was made by Doris Fisk, who was a pastor's wife, and she made a nice puppet, but I probably used it a lot too. So a lot of the things that it did wore out after you do it for a while. So this does a little bit more too, because Landon made it, but, oh, do we have this? He has a tail. We didn't put his tail on.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fine. So you get him from the side.
So you had this dog. So Bob had this dog, and we wanted to. This looks nothing like the one he used in clubs.
No.
It was different and built, very different builder and everything. And we wanted to update the look of it, make him look more menacing, but and kind of goofier. But yeah, this is Vent the Mangler. And, that's great. Yeah.
I'm not set today. My friend, Danny Doberman, he croaked. That was it. He was in a fight.
In a fight with what kind of other dog?
I think it was a Chihuahua.
How could a Doberman possibly get killed by a Chihuahua?
I don't know, I think he choked on him. Laugh.
That's the kind of guy you are. I can't find that loop.
That's fine, don't worry about that.
Where is it?
It's right there.
Maybe it's right there.
Should drop down.
No, not that.
Should that.
The other one. That loop.
You keep up in the head. If you can't find it, don't worry about it.
What do you mean don't worry about it? I have one to worry.
All right, well.
Ta-da. I also had a dog whistle. Then we would sing mean songs, and then I would blow the whistle, and he's like, I don't hear anything. I go, you gotta listen closer, and then you do this. And he go, yeah. And then he would scare people, and you go, hey, you gotta start laughing. Ah! She's smiling now. Yeah. She wet her pants too. Okay.
And anyone that knows Bob knows that he's always doing photos and taking a bunch of goofy photos. And so we also built this guy where he's photo friendly. So we used this this connector, found this cool connector piece for the arms that I installed into the body. So you can actually, it sounds horrible when I move the arm.
Oh!
Sounds like you're cracking him. But you can position
You are
the
not
arms.
exactly a chiropractor, let me tell you.
You can position the arms for photos and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so you could
And have them hold stuff.
he could hold signs or whatever, but he also, if you don't want him to sit down, he also can stand up.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little more.
Cool.
And his head also comes out like the other ones do. You
Bob had that.
He has the ring thing.
Yeah.
Then he wasn't enough. Then I decided he needed, because he was supposed to be my guard dog originally, then he decided he's my guard dog and he's tied in with the mafia. That's why I was going to just call him the Mangler. Then my friend Judy Tenuta said, oh, he can't be just the Mangler. He has to be Vince the Mangler. And that's like kind of what, like, guys that are connected, they're kind of like that. So I thought, well, he can't just be like that. Then he has to have a sidekick.
Hey, kill it. Yeah, what do you want, Goss? Need you to go out, take that guy out for him. Me? Yeah. Okay, whatever you say, Goss.
So what I do is, I have him, nice. So what I do is, I have him come in, if any time there's a slow part, then you have the little guy come in and say something and come back out. So you could have, so you don't just have one character in this whole time. And you could do that with Harry Dickerson, actually.
Yeah.
You could have the twinnies, like, you know, my twin brother, and talk about him for a while, and then have him come in and, oh yeah, my twin brother's here. And you guys would laugh when he came in and he would be like this little short guy. So.
Yeah, because you're also establishing who his twin brother is through the jokes and everything in the routine.
Yeah.
When you actually see him, he's probably not what they're expecting.
I think that's the best way to really
Which is pretty cool, yeah.
use them.
It's kind of like what I do with Patty, you know.
Yeah.
We'll
tell them what Patty is like.
I've got my old man Mervin that I use in my normal show that they do all over Texas. And he talks about this lady with an eye patch and one leg at the senior home that they call Pirate Patty. And they call it behind her back, and it's this whole thing. But at the end of the show, I end up bringing out Patty, and you see her. She's this old lady. She's got the one eye patch and all that, and she's got this rough smoker voice, you know, one of those voices, which you know you can only do that for so long. But you know, it's a fun way to end the bit and kind of tie it all back together. Kind of a callback with a puppet in a way, you know. So, and wrapping up here.
You could do rough voices. It depends on where it comes from. If you decide if that hurts your voice, it really depends on where you're taking it from. Because I could do Vince for a long time and it doesn't bother my voice. It sounds like it would, but it doesn't really. And I'm not taking it from way back. I'm adding that little bit of saliva that's in the back of your throat that gives you that ta-da rasp sound.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. How are you, balloon lady?
Oh, good, how are you doing?
Okay.
Some of the best things that I've learned from Bob was that if you wanted to get character voices, that maybe you should listen to like Lily Tomlin tapes or DVDs, and or just watch the cartoons and listen to the voices. And Bob's a wealth of information, so if you ever have any questions, stop him in the hallway, because he is the best.
Oh, well, thanks. Do I owe you anything?
No, I already bought all of your DVDs, but you have a lot of insight, and we're very lucky to have you in our community.
Oh, well,
As we
thanks.
are with
That's
Landon.
very nice. Well, there are a few, once in a while I get somebody, I'm not like Sammy does those coaching things, but I once in a while somebody wants me to do that, and I work with them on a voice, and I think I charge like 25 for a half hour or something. I usually end up giving people more time even because they might need it or whatever, but I've had people that, oh, this is my favorite story. This is a true story. Dale Brown says, there's this guy up here, he sounds the same as his puppet. And I mean, he and the dummy sound exactly the same. He said, so I told him to come and see you, maybe you could help. But here's the struggle. He learned from the Mayor Studios, which is fine, and they have a certain thing where you place your voice. Well, that guy sounded like that to begin with. You know, the voice like that you do? Ta-da. That guy sounded like that all the time. That's his regular speaking voice. No wonder he sounds like the dummy. He sounds like that to begin with. So I made him change the voice of the dummy. So it's kind of like Homer Simpson. Right lower. Now the dummy's voice is lower than his voice is up here. Wow, hi, how are you today? I'm pretty good, how are you? That's really all he needed. But he didn't know it's his own voice. He doesn't realize what he really sounds like every day. He's used to hear, that's, you know what I mean? It's him. I mean, how can he tell what he really is? Anyway. So that's fabulous. And I'm turning into this now. As I get older, I know this. Even though I'm not getting older, that's everybody else. Like him over there who's asleep now and doesn't even know it. Don't wake him up.
Oh, no,
You can't make fun of him if you wake him up. Anyway.
Can't wake them up.
That's another one. I worked on this voice really hard, and I said he needed it for a character.
I have this big Frankenstein puppet that looks, Frankenstein monster is what it is.
And he said, I'm going to make that monster sound like, sort of like Mortimer Stern. And they go, you don't want to do that. He should sound like, I don't know, Patrick Warburton.
Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, Patrick
Right,
Warburton.
so I've been working on the voice for a while, and he works on it really hard, and he does it on the money. Do it for me.
Oh, Cusco's poison. Poison kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
You know?
I like that. I'm not too sure.
And it's great for him, because when you're the mad scientist and you've got the Frankenstein, and you're like, where did you put that part? And he goes,
I don't know. I think it's somewhere back there.
It's a fun voice.
It's a great.
That's a hard voice, because you see all the facial expressions you have to do to kind of get into that character. You gotta practice and make sure not to do this when you're doing ventriloquism. That was my one thing. But it's a fun voice too. I don't do it.
Well, that's one thing to think about is do the voice, work on the voice, then figure out how you do the voice without moving your lips. Because a lot of those voices you almost have to do. Like, what's his name? He used to use Clarence Nash, who did Donald Duck. He had a dummy made of Donald Duck. It's a beautiful dummy. I mean, it really looks like Donald Duck. And the beak is great, and the eyes are big cartoon eyes, but they move. Oh. But how do you do that without moving your lips? And you can't, because it's all a pocket. It's all right here. It's like you can't. What are you gonna do? Well, you can't. But if you do it upstage, and you're talking to the duck, and he's over here, and you look at him, and you do it upstage, and they don't see your cheek move, you're probably okay. Anyway, are we done?
Dirk had a question.
I used to work at Disneyland back in the...
Oh yeah, you did. You worked here for a while ago. We talked about that dog.
Yeah.
Did you use that dog?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
The one in the original?
Tony Urbano made that dog for the Golden
Tony
Globes.
Urbano, right.
It was Claude Dog. But Clarence Nass, he used to carry around that puppet so people would know that he was the voice of Donald Duck. He would come backstage, you know, and That was a really cool thing, so you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Landon.
And he also, people think they make big money doing voices. And it's not like now, they didn't make big money for doing that. They get paid like a flat rate for a cartoon, sometimes like $125, and that's what you got. I mean, back then $125 was worth more, but once, they just use that cartoon over and over and over, and it doesn't matter. You can't do that now. But, so to make more money, he took that, he worked school shows. He did school shows with that Donald Duck. Yeah.
My question for you, Landon.
Sure.
Your characters, do you have to enter your hand from the bottom, or do you make any that you enter from their back?
They're all custom built, so I can build them however you want it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I prefer personally myself on a soft puppet entering from the back, not the bottom.
Okay.
Just kind of gives you more.
Well, I had some that were, I had a rabbit I really liked, and it, actually because it was from Showbiz Services. I don't know if anybody remembers those. They were half rabbits. They started here, and it was a cool character. And then I had a guy make legs for it, so he could stand up and sit down. And he carved them like a marionette, so they would have joints. And then to have him stand up and sit down, he made me a little stool, like a milking stool. And then you put the stool down, and the rabbit would sit on the stool, and his butt is actually where your elbow is. So you can go all the way up there and down. But now you've got this gun. I don't know. It's a whole other animated thing without being really, charging you more or anything else to do it.
So wrapping up here,
yes.
The main points you can take from this workshop: take inspiration from everything you see, or you see it on TV, or you hear something, or you're talking to your wacky new neighbor. Sometimes it's a character trait, sometimes it's something that you see, sometimes you...
Can I buy a cup of sugar? Can I buy a cup of sugar from you?
Something that's been done before that you put your own twist on. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So then once you get your character done that you want done, you talk to him and he'll make it for you. Then you get to actually use what you thought, and you will have something that's totally for you and nobody else has one. And you go, but I would like it to do this. And I don't know, how many different things can you have these?
I built a bunch of stuff. Wrapping up here, quick story. I built an alien for John Peasy that had raising and lowering eyebrows, and he wanted the brain of the alien to be transparent, but in the stomach, so that he could do a bit where the alien has these different emotions, and he gets happy, angry, and sad, and the brain lights up different colors based on each emotion he had. And we figured it out, and he operates it from a little remote, and it lights up, and it does all kinds of stuff. So I love a challenge, and I love building different things, and in all different sizes and shapes and mechanisms and whatnot, and I have fun with it. And working with people and seeing the end product and my work being used is rewarding. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you got something from it. And we'll be over here for a stop by and say hi if you have any other questions. Enjoy the rest of the convention. Yeah.
Are you on the web?
I am on the web. You can follow. Bob Rumba is on Instagram. I am online. Landon Venting is everywhere. Landon Venting, but you can look up Landon Harvey as well.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and what else? Facebook. He got me to go on TikTok. He talked me into it. He's a TikTok star. Yeah.
Good, how you doing?
You Star Wars on your system? Are you starting on the ground? Down here?
I'm starting down here.
All right.
Come down here.
Sure. Casual. It's fun.
I like those little. Dry. So everybody now?
Probably.
Not a chance.
You're like, go to the principal's house. All right, this is Landon Harvey, puppet builder extraordinaire and ventriloquist.
He's only 20, folks. All right. This is Bob Rumba.
You know what I used to do when I did shows, when I first started? So people would remember my name, I would make sure I said my name in my act as many times as possible. Then when I was done, I'd say, and I am? That's to get everybody to do. And then like other comics would go, how do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the reason that we have this lecture is not just for voices, not just for puppets. Is to think of like, usually most people that come to this convention go in one of those rooms and they go, I'm gonna buy a puppet. And they buy a puppet. And then they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what it should sound like, they don't know anything about it. They just go, I just liked it. So this is what we're trying to get you to think about, the way the character should be, or a voice or a character, before you have it made. Then, once you got the character and everything down, it always turns out much better when you call a guy like him and you go, Landon, I have an idea, and I don't know if you can make it. Then, because the thing he's got going for you is, well, there's other builders here, and they do a nice job. But he's actually a ventriloquist, so he knows what you need, and he knows if he wanted to use it, what it would be like if he used it. So he can do a better job for you. I think a lot of times, if you really want a custom character, if you're really one of those people who goes, I just want a puppet, then it's fine. Go get one and you're all right, you're set. So what happened was, I originally, where do you want to go?
Well, you've known me since my first convention, and you've
Right,
seen my
when
work
you were
progress.
short.
Yeah, shorter.
Yeah. Shorter, you're gonna get taller. Yeah.
Yes. What do you want to start with?
I was working for Scott and Lisa Land in Vegas, and I'm doing a voice lecture. Like the choices of voices thing, sort of like I did here, except it was several days. And on this, most people here know what's going on, either professional or semi-professional, somewhere around. Those people out there, some are professionals and some are people that just have interests in it. So I covered a lot of bases. And then one day a guy goes, now this isn't Scott's work, his area where he makes puppets and makes marionettes and everything. Well, I didn't know he used to work for Disneyland, and he collects puppets sometimes too. He's a big fan of Tony Urbano. So Tony Urbano made, he let me use a frog that he made that, I guess it's like a line of frogs that they, actually you can use them as singing songs and, like a chorus line of frogs.
Tony was a big Disney builder.
Yeah, made all these things for Disney. Well, he had a dog, and I go, oh, can I use that dog? He goes, oh yeah, sure. And I fell in love with this dog. Well, the problem with the dog is, and Dirk isn't here. Dirk, I said, I know, used it, but it was a walk-around dog. So your arm went like this, the fake arm, and then yours goes up inside, and then the guy would use it, would have it talk to him, and it would go like this. His head goes up and says whatever and comes back down. And you're thinking, oh, it has to do that because it has to try to make eye contact with the ventriloquist. No, it has to do that because of the way the mouth is made. You don't see the mouth move unless he goes like this, because of the way the snout was made. So, first of all, I had to find somebody that could make one, like, sort of like that one, not exactly like that. And I went to Landon. Landon actually had to talk me into that he could make it, because he was like this tall, and he's like,
I can make it.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, right.
He kept telling me on the phone how discouraged he was, and he's like, I really want to have it built, and I just keep thinking, that the thing is, he didn't just see the dog, he performed with it, and he had a voice, and he had the character for it, and everything was there already, except the puppet.
Yeah, that was the problem. So,
And it was, yeah.
so I based the voice on Pat Butcher, from Green Acres. Hi, Mr. Douglas. There's a few things here I think you might be interested in. So I based it on that, and I liked that voice. And then I put it in the dog because I use that voice here and there when I needed it, and it just seemed to fit. But then I knew I had to give the dog back. I mean, it wasn't mine. So I had to have one made. So he made this one for me. And I wanted it to be like a dog. I didn't want it to sit like a person. I wanted it to be in the dog mode. So get in from the side. And
Okay, there you go. Could you do me a favor?
yeah.
My leg is kind of hanging off this table. We're going to lift it up. Oh, yes, sir.
Is it heavy?
Is it heavy, Bob?
What's that?
Is he heavy?
No, not at
It's a
all.
big puppet. It's all foam. So the whole body is hollow. It's patterned in foam. It's all hollow. He's essentially a cross between a puppet and a hind stuffed animal.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And during this lecture, by the way, there's not that many of us in here. So feel free, if you want to ask questions, just ask questions. You don't have to wait to the end, ask a question. I mean, just ask one when you want to ask one. Who was it just asked one? You? She did. Oh, yeah, okay. Way to go.
Yeah, okay.
It looks like it's flopping up and down, and
Yes, the tongue is not hinged. It's sewn at the very end contact point, but because I do a very special grip on my puppets to ease, performer ease and comfort, when you perform with it, it looks like it's always flapping. It gives it that extra little animation.
so it gets kind of caught up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know I like you. Can I sniff you, lady? No, don't sniff. Just for a little no.
How much do I charge? The golden question. My stuff varies. My convention stuff is probably the cheapest. These guys right here you see are $8.75 a piece, and everything I do is a one-off custom. So it's one of a kind. They are for sale. Yes.
Yeah, these little ones. Why aren't these like $100?
These ones are actually.
These little tiny ones?
Yeah, these ones are 80. Yeah.
Wow, not even 100. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The little puppets on the gun. Yes. Question.
What is the dog's name?
What's the dog's name, Bob?
His name is Little Speedy. His name is Speedy after Speedy Wheeler that belongs to my friend Bob Isaacson. And when Bob left to remember Bob with, I wanted to name him Speedy because he doesn't look like he is Speedy. So then the other part was my friend Judy said, he's huge. He should be Little Speedy.
Tell the story of the girl at the church.
Yeah. And then the funny one was, there was a kid like you, but way smaller than you, and she says, what's his name? And I go, it's Little Speedy. She goes, he's gonna get bigger? I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like it. Anyway, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Can you show me how he would lick his owner there?
Oh, I'm not gonna lick him, Bob. Have him lick you.
What? Like this.
Good.
Great situational comedy right there.
I still have to go to the bathroom. For what? A drink of water? No. Anyway.
Okay, so let's show them how this works, because we only have 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So these, now when we travel, you have to think about what you do when you travel. So that's why I think more people are using saw puppets instead of dummies, because they worry about the hard figure getting hurt. So one of the things you can do is, on the side here, there's a, see this? Can you see this? Okay, so you
It's a neck cuff.
Okay, you
Basically,
squeeze
it's
it.
connected to the neck of the puppet.
Yeah.
This is all one piece. Let me take it out of
So
the
that
puppet
way,
like that.
when you, some, it depends on what you're traveling with, because some of the cases you use, you don't want this all put together, it's too long or too big, but you can put that in the case and then put this next to it. Then to put it back together, you go, oh my God, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Okay, so you just squeeze that. Back in.
You just feed it through.
You feed it through.
Quick and easy.
It's very
setup in
clever,
seconds.
very
Yeah.
clever. Yes.
That's nice. Very good.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Darn proud, I like it.
That's very clever.
That ring
Love
keeps the head from falling.
Keeps the head in, yeah, we have different, every different body is a different shape and pattern, but some of the rings are shorter depending on the neck. But yeah, we do that on those, and it allows you to travel with them. Because typically, I build cartoony looking puppets, and you've got bigger heads or more cartoony heads, and just like you would with a hard figure, even when you travel with these guys, the head is the most important part. The body is always easier to be duplicated. But it's always harder to duplicate a face. So, you travel with that, take the head on the plane, and, with the body of that is hollow, so you can travel with it and stuff your socks in it or whatever. Save space and
Yeah, until the socks get stinky.
that's true.
Yeah, that's not good.
TSA would love it.
What's that?
TSA, you looked in there and pulled out the head.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty good. TSA is pretty nice with me though, because I usually do voices for them or something before they start working on it. I wait to get in.
You're the only one that does a warm-up act for the TSA.
Well, the one time I did it and they actually said, I had to be in there forever and they won't let you past a certain point until your flight is ready. And I had to be there forever and they said, you know what, you didn't get mad about your flight being late or anything else. You did voices for us, so we're going to let you go in ahead of time. And they gave me a wheelchair even, and they pushed me all the way down. Like, yeah, and that's from just doing, oh my gosh, hi everybody. That's what did it.
It helps anyway.
He was made actually too, because most ventriloquists act, as I call it, is the seesaw effect. I tell a line, he does a line. I tell a line, he does it. Bump, 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 bump. It goes back and forth like a seesaw. This way, I can talk about whatever I want. He doesn't have to say anything right away. And then he says something every so often. Like, he doesn't have to talk constantly through the whole act.
Yeah, he perks up throughout the show, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. And then I can go back to sleep.
From a builder perspective, when I built this guy, because Bob said, I want to either have him in my lap or on a stand, I really want to make sure that the mouth, the eyes are seen from afar, that's important, and then that the mouth, when he opens that mouth, it's dramatic and you can see it. So even if, if that wall was removed and we were in the very back of this full area, you could see that from the back. And, I really pay a lot of attention to that because there's some puppets out there that have that problem.
Can I sniff that like?
No, you cannot. Anyway, okay, let's...
That's a little speedy.
Yeah.
That's him. And then we have, I guess we're doing Jackie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where did we start with this? I wanted a different character, something that was like high energy, and I found this guy on YouTube. I was just, uh-oh, he's trying to jump.
Bob, is that yours?
What?
The dog?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
I told you the whole Wally story. Were you here, not hearing that?
I was sleeping. No, sorry, just woke up.
Okay. Yeah, that's the whole Wally Bug story. But he's up. I got this dog. Now we're going to start a new story now.
Okay. I'll be ready.
Two. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Okay, so he had this guy that he liked that he found online, and he was like a fat guy, and he had a voice. Do the original voice of the fat guy.
Hey, you want to go to Kroger? We should go to Kroger, Cap.
Yeah, that's what
really kind of a strange, very kind of relaxed voice.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so funny. And I kept practicing it because the voice made me laugh.
It was
If
very
this
funny.
voice makes me laugh, I'm sure it would entertain an audience.
So now he talks about, we're talking about things, we're talking about making a jackalope. And I said, I always wanted a jackalope, but I could never find anybody to make one because they either the antlers get in the way, they're too big, or they're too whatever, they couldn't get, it never cut, it didn't look like one, it always looked weird. Even though jackalopes aren't real, they were invented by
Taxidermist.
taxidermists, yeah, pretty much, put them together. So, can you do them?
Yeah.
So, he gets them out and he starts doing TikToks. Now TikToks, you got 15 seconds to a minute, right? So he is forced now to use the voice that I suggested. I go, you see that voice, that's really funny. But he's forced to speed it up because he has to, because he only has so much time.
And I didn't notice that I had sped it up until you had mentioned it to me.
Right.
And because over the period of a year, I was speeding it up. Hi there, cheese. How you doing? Good to see ya. This is Jackie. I'm the jackalope, right? I'm a mythical creature. Right? I'm from Wyoming. Ain't that right, kid? Okay, come here. And so he's kind of evolved through my online stuff, and you know, he's gotten a lot quicker, and we've done a lot of.
He's really like his garage show, really.
But he's my he's my kind of main character there. Yeah. And we, if you look up a traditional jackalope, he looks nothing like one, because they're kind of ugly. Thank you. No, the traditional one. Okay, right, yes. And I wanted this one. I wanted it to look cute, and I also have a guy that does cartoons of my characters for my merchandise, and I said if I wanted this to be done for merchandise, I wanted it to be great for kids and everything. So I built him where he was a combination of a few different cartoon inspirations. Brer Rabbit, Bugs Bunny, who else?
Bugs Bunny, Ricochet Rabbit.
Ricochet Rabbit. So, you know, he's got the really cartoony antlers and then the rounded ears like Bugs and all the different elements of a cute little bunny. And back here, you don't even see it, but he's got a little cute little deer tail. So, you know, a little fun thing. But he's that's Jackie, and he's been my main character, and we've taken that voice and run with it and created a character, and it's a great voice now that it's quicker and more hyper. Yes, right, yes, because now I can be inquisitive, right, and constantly bother you and ask you questions, right? Yes. Why are we here? Why are they here? They're here to be part of a lecture. Why is he here? He's here to talk. He's doing a good job. Yeah, all right.
That's actually how we got to be friends, by him helping me with this.
Yeah.
And I say, I need this. And then he's like, I like his voice. And I tell him what I think he should use, and he actually listens to me. And that's his dad, and he listens to me. Anyway.
So Landon, you started with a voice and created a character for the voice in this case.
Exactly. Yeah. We start with a voice, and I have, I do shows all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and done a lot of kids shows, and kids are always so rambunctious, and they're always bothering you and asking you a bunch of questions. And that's a character trait I've added to this character, and it's really added a lot with him because I can bring him out just kind of looking around. Kids are always, a lot of these kids nowadays are like ADHD, and they're just like looking around and studying everything. I wanted to know everything about everything, which is great because when you run out of jackalope material, because that does happen, you can go outside of that and talk about anything. And the limitations of him being a jackalope is just a character trait, and it's just, an additive thing. So, I could talk about politics with a jackalope, I could, yeah.
What's the thing around his wrist? Does it mean anything?
Thing around the wrist, oh yeah, it's a watch, it's a toy watch, and we use it to sell watches after the show. Merchandise, right. He used to wear glasses, and there was this horrible joke he wrote where he got the glasses from this old lady, and he tripped at this old lady for her glasses, and then I go, oh, where'd you get the watch? Did you get that from the old lady too? And he goes, no, she had a grandson. That's it. So, but that's the watch. I thought it would be funny for him to not wear any clothes but have some type of, cute, like article of, that attached to humans. And they do the cartoons a lot too, which this guy watches a lot of, and that inspired me as well. So that's him, and I'm big on textures too, so his antlers look, kind of like antlers, and he's got a lot of different colors and shades and plays big from afar.
What are the antlers made of?
The antlers are made out of carved foam that I painted. Yeah. So
who came after that then?
Who came after that?
Can you do Bill next?
We can do Bill. We can talk about Bill. Yeah. So Jackie is when Jackie's one I use in my show. Bill's also one I use in my show. He's a zombie, and I like the idea of having a zombie puppet, but I didn't want to do. I heard that Nick Paolo did one, right, Bob?
What's that?
Nick had a zombie?
Nick Paulo
Yeah.
had, I don't know, I think it was a zombie, it was pretty,
Yeah, he had zombies.
yeah, they were scarier looking though. And maybe it's because they were rubbery too.
Yeah.
They sort of added.
Rubbery.
Nick is very funny too, but this is pretty funny.
I wanted something that looked goofy and terrifying at the same time. They're kind of like Bob. Okay. Hi! Introduce yourself. My name is Bill. I'm a zombie. Yeah. I was on TV. Really? Yeah. I think this lady recognized me. Oh, Nina? Yeah. Hi, Nina. You recognized me? How'd she recognize you? Well, I was on that show about those beings that are half human, always moaning and in need of the brain. Oh, The Walking Dead? No, the Kardashians. So I created Bill, and Bill was created as a TikTok character, so I did a lot of videos with him on TikTok and evolved his character, and I do live streams with him a lot and ad-lib. And then I thought, I don't really know how it happened, but I created Maggie, and Maggie, Bill, you'll introduce Maggie. She's my receptionist. Hi. Maggie's a maggot who lives inside Bill's head. And it's an additional puppet that I operate with one of my fingers inside of Bill's head like that, and they go back and forth. And it's gotten to the point where this stupid little gimmick, like people on my TikTok won't want to watch Bill unless Maggie's there, because they're like a little comedy duo there. And that took me hours to figure out to move the mouth. But it just, people love it so much, and it's so different that, I think she's the only female character I have is a maggot, so. But, it's fun, and it's different.
You do most with one hand, so he still has his free hand.
Yeah, my lips, you see that? Hi. Yeah, we have to do a lot of video close-ups, yeah, it's great. Oh! You're okay? I'm fine, all right.
Okay.
Oh! It's okay.
I hate when that happens to you.
Yeah, I hate when it happens to you too. Oh. The fourth one's not going to fall off, right? No, rule of threes. Okay, good, yeah. There you go. But that's Bill. He sings a song usually, and he falls
No, you have
off.
to do the, what does a fox say?
So there was a song called What Does the Fox Say? She's like, and the chorus, I don't know the words leading up to it because I haven't studied it because it lists like 50 different animals and what they say. But the chorus, the fox goes, what does the fox say? And then it goes ring ding ding. So I changed it, did a little parody. Thank you, Terry Faders, actually years ago. And I go, what does the maggot say? So Bill goes, what does the maggot say? Ring ding 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 ding. Ring ding 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 ding. Ring ding ding ding.
I think that's funny.
It's goofy and silly. And then I had this artist on TikTok, she reached out to me, she said, I love Bill, I want to make him a coffin. And she made a coffin that fit the puppet. And I said, okay, if you're gonna do this, can you make it look like a dressing room door? So she put Bill the zombie on the lid of the coffin, and she put it in yellow, and she put a yellow star right underneath his name. It's hilarious. And but from the side of the coffin, you can hear Maggie over. So it's fun.
You want to do Harry and Dick?
Sure.
Okay.
So these guys were created for the convention. We're selling these guys, and you can buy them individually or as a pair. Tell them about the inspiration for this.
The inspiration for this?
Oh, we have a question. Yes.
You don't have to raise your hands.
This because I wasn't here for the first half of the show, but how long does it normally take you to make a pumpkin?
Great question. If I have all the materials, anywhere from 3 weeks to a month.
I'll write that down.
That's faster than everybody else.
That's great. That's great.
I can do mechanisms and all types of fun stuff. Bill has got magnets, that's how he connects back. You can build a bill. And yeah.
Do you start off with a sketch?
I do. I usually get a general idea for what the client wants, and you can see on my website, so my name's Landon Harvey, my website is The Original Dummy. And thank you. And that's where you can see all my puppet work, and we always start with a sketch, gives them an idea for what, where they want to go with it, and we do a front profile, side profile.
Especially like if you called in and you said, I want such and such. And you're not, you sort of know what it looks like, but you're not sure. Then you talk to him, and he sort of can help you with that vision, and then he shows it to you, and then you say, oh, but I thought his nose is a little bit bigger, and he says, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot easier changing a sketch than a puppet. So
yeah.
You get it perfect, and then you have it built, and it's ready to perform.
And you can specify the size? Like
Size.
Right.
You know, if you have desired fur color or fleece color or whatever, yeah. All that fun stuff.
My story is, because people always say, where did you get that idea from? So, mine was, when I was 5 years old, my grandfather bought me the first record album I ever had, and it was Eddie Lawrence. Eddie Lawrence was known as the old philosopher, and he did both voices, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to have characters like that? And I called Landon, he goes, oh, that'd be right. So it was like the guys who go, I want to buy an apartment.
So you want to buy an apartment, eh?
You know, it's like those kind of two different, but the guy did both the voices, and then he ended up having a cartoon like that also, which is pretty cool.
So I need to ask you a great question about the drawings. I drew up this, I don't have it here, but I drew these guys. I built this guy within, I didn't sleep, but I built him within like 3 days before flying here to the convention. Because I had this guy, and I had done 3 weeks at Silver Dollar City and come back and finished him and finished this guy.
He's like a mad scientist.
I'm like a mad, yeah.
They just slide his fruit
I'm a mad puppet scientist in my garage. But we've got these guys, and it's fun because whether you're, sometimes you see two ventriloquists perform together on stage are just fun. And
how's it going? Good to see you.
What do you do?
I'm a plumber. Okay. For hire. Also do children's birthday parties. As a plumber.
Right.
He gets us all our jobs. Yeah. So what's our next job?
I'm consultant to ventriloquists. Hello, sir. Would you like to be on America's Got Talent?
That's a good idea. So what's the next job you've got us?
Oh, I got myself the next job. I'm going to be Tom Carl impersonator. You kind of look like him.
Is that a good doll for that?
Oh, I guess there needs to be, huh?
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, but you have the high-pitched voice, the low guy, you go back and forth, and I talked earlier at the earlier one we did on this about how most pageant events have the two puppets, but they always do like the auctioneer song where they're dressed up like a cowboy and a cowgirl. Well, how funny would it be if this pretty pageant girl comes out with these two like weird guy-looking puppets and does a bit with them? It would totally confuse and blow away the audience. I think it would be great and refreshing. And it doesn't have to be these guys, but you could take that concept and it could be, her and her best friend that's a puppet, and they just got a dog, and then the dog ends up being able to sing, but it can't talk or something. I don't know. But there's a lot of different ideas.
The last job he got me.
What was that?
Being somebody's dog.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't fetch. Couldn't run quick enough either. It kept rolling.
Yeah.
It's hard to bury your bones in the back.
They asked you to roll over, and you rolled over and over and over and over.
Yeah, he's round.
Yeah.
He's lots funnier this one than the first one. He's awake now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
You guys better job than the last one. We got us wrestling alligators. That was it.
Yes. I'm working on it.
Okay.
But the cool thing is too, like they look like lumberjacks or whatever. You can dress them up in anything. You can do that with any puppet. You can have a basic boy puppet that you dress up into different costumes and can customize new material and have a different character for it. Just change the wig if you're on a budget. And that's a great way to do it. But this is Harry and Dick Dickerson, and they're twins.
Yeah. Hey, I could be a girl with a mustache, then I could just change my pronoun. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the ventriloquist pronoun is they, right? Because we speak for multiple people. Multiple people.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
We speak. That's multiple.
I need to go back to plumbing. I guess so. All right.
You need a dog.
That's Harry and Dick Dickerson. There we go.
Got a great voice.
Wow, I'm good here. Anyway, all right, where do we go from here?
Take off. Regular test questions?
You don't have to ask questions unless they want to ask questions.
All right.
Don't
I
make
have
any
a
questions
question.
that come.
Yes.
When you mentioned pageant, and so this is off the topic, but the lady I referred to you who was in the Virginia contest, were you
Yes.
able to do something for her, or?
She was, no.
She didn't, yeah, I got you. But it would have probably helped her.
You know what? I actually did. I was thinking of someone else. I built her a puppet, and I think I posted it on Facebook. I think a lot of people said it ended up looking like me. Pure coincidence. But it was fun.
She was in Miss Commonwealth something, and she.
Yeah, I built. She wanted me to rebuild this boy puppet she had. And what I noticed is when you have two puppets on stage, it's very hard to keep you got the wigs or whatever. You have to set them and you have to make sure that they look good. So when you perform, you can get photos and everything else. And so I sculpted the hair of the boy puppet out of foam and covered it in fabric. So it looked really cartoony and swirled, kind of like Dean Martin-esque. And it worked out really well, so all she has to do is just pick up the puppet and go, and she doesn't have to ever worry about fixing the hair. But it's always photo camera worthy. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah.
Does that matter that she was from Virginia?
No, I'm from Georgia. It mattered that she paid me to help her, and I tried to recommend a great figure maker, so.
Oh, thank you.
I decided the whole story was about Virginia and that she needed help because she was from Virginia.
I guess. She could have been from Florida.
No, Virginia sounds a lot worse.
Okay.
We're doing these?
We're doing those. I've got these for sale. Handsome little fun puppets you could travel with for $80. And they're pretty goofy, and you could toy around with them. Something fun to play with. People go, "You're a ventriloquist," and you're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Do something." And you're like,
Yeah.
You pull this little puppet
Yeah, I
out of
like it. Okay,
your
great.
backpack or whatever.
I also decided that it would be funny because I was holding them last time and I'm like, hey, you could fly, you could just float around like this.
Yeah, I can. It's like flying.
But it's much funnier if he has to actually fly away all the time he's talking. Okay, you can stay like that?
Oh yeah, I can stay like that for a long time, long time. Yeah, gotta keep moving though. Don't wanna fall, don't wanna fall. Anyway, getting a little tired up. Okay.
I never saw anybody do that. Did you ever see him?
Yeah, you're
Yes,
a
we did.
genius, weirdo. Okay, that's pretty good.
Anyway, if you come up with other voices though, you're allowed to pull them out. And if I can do it, I'll do it for you. Then with this one, if you think there's another voice that you think fits this guy, you guys have no imagination.
He looks really nervous.
Well,
That's because you're sitting in the front.
You truck driver.
Why do you date a truck driver? You know what a truck driver sounds like?
In California. I wonder.
yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock.
Tonight on our show, we have a real horse story.
There you go.
The word was all sponsor.
That is a bird that doesn't crush him.
Ed Sullivan.
What?
Ed Sullivan.
And now, right here on stage, we have terrific Tandy Tarantino and their terrifying tarantulas from Toluca.
Anyway, I think these are nice for if you want an extra character to take with you if you have a big one, and I've done that already where I have a rabbit puppet that I use, a pink rabbit that I carry a lot, and he fits in my derby. I just put him in with other stuff, and then you have this extra character. And then I use bigger ones first. Then at the end, you bring out the little one, and people seem to be more impressed with that than the big one.
The visual contrast too is great.
I think it's
So all I had to spend was $80?
no, it's actually the real thought process is you start out with a big one, and then or one or two big ones, so they think everything is the same size. Then you bring out a little one. Yeah. We do this.
Yeah, why not?
I'm staying down here. I kind of like it now.
All right. So Bob had this idea, and he told me this he told me it a few months before convention. And I said, yeah, I might be able to get to that and build that. And he wanted a raccoon cap that was a puppet. You can tell it's very convincing as a hat.
Or
Daniel Boone was a man.
But
Yeah.
funny thing is, you run around with it on stage or whatever, you do your bit, and then it falls off.
Does Mark White have one of these? Sorry. Don't tell him what I said.
Tell us.
Okay. So what happens is you just poke his nose at Scott.
And there's a head there that pops out, and you've got a little character.
I think I got it from watching a Beanie and Sousa cartoon with him, Davy Crackpot or something, or Davy Cricket, somebody like that. Anyway.
How you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, okay, that's the way it is. Okay.
I kind of like him like that.
Yeah, a little
whacked out.
apple cider, kind of like aged apple cider. What do you think? I like it. The idea is great. That tastes terrible.
And they don't have antenna on cars anymore, so.
Yeah, I don't have a job doing that. Anyway, this could be many voices, I think. Sure.
There's many ways to perform with it too. Like if you are like Dirk and you do strolling ventriloquism, walk around. Having a gag like that's fun because you wear the hat and take it off and then really interact with people and have it, wear it as a necklace. Might have to pull it up a little bit, Bob. Might bite you. Might not be good. How much would one of them be?
Yeah,
This
don't
guy.
ask me.
This guy is $475. Yep. They're all one of a kind guys, so they're pretty fun.
He has really nice grips in here.
Yeah, I use
people don't never know that, but there's like a leather grip in there.
Yeah.
So he usually has a thing that's almost it soaks up your sweat. Actually, if you ever do a walk around and you're in it for a long period of time, and so what actually happens is it ends up molding to your hand, kind of. So it's really made for you for real.
And when I build for my custom puppet clients, I have them send me a photo of their hand so I can get the full dimensions. So you never have to worry about the puppet not fitting you or anything else. It's by the time you get it, it's made to fit you and ready to be performed. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
Different voice.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good voice.
I think it is.
Yes.
It's me, I think. Thanks for paying attention, David.
What's that one?
Yeah, it sounds like you.
Yeah, it sounds like you.
It sounds like you.
I sound like this. You sound like this.
Okay. Well, they can't get in here.
You should tell them about Vince.
Talking about Vince?
Yeah.
I started out in Well, I started in theater actually, but I went to nightclubs. Nightclubs, when I started, almost everybody was a stand-up comic. There was hardly anybody doing anything else. So I was like a big deal because I had puppets. So I decided that it would be funny to have a character. Well, first of all, a lot of my material was written by my barber when I'm cutting my hair, and his name was Mario, so he has an Italian thinking process. So that would be funny to have a guard dog that's connected with the mafia. That's where it comes from. So I had this dog, and I loved Muttley from, says a lot of, but I wanted to be able to talk so you understood him. So what I did was, I had a dog made from Doris Fisk. She was a pastor's wife, actually, and she did a nice job, and I used him so much, he was sort of wearing out, and then, I don't know, I couldn't use him. I think it's because he's wearing out, showing his wear, and I never thought he looked super professional, even though I used him forever, and people all liked him. And they liked him because he looked beat up. So I go to Lynn and I go, can you make another one of these, like, with better eyes and everything? He said, we'll be doing an upgrade. So what he did was he made one that doesn't look anything like the original one.
No, hold on. It was approved though. We approved it, but we did sketches. We talked about it.
Right,
yeah.
we talked about it. And I go, that is what it looks like.
You got what you wanted.
No, I got what I wanted, but it was like, it was actually, as a ventriloquist, I thought like, I wonder if I'm going to really be able to do this because I think of how the other one looks. But actually, it turned out better because I hadn't done them for a while, and I still had the voice in me and that everything, but I was like, yeah, I can do this. This will work. And I had to switch over, but it's kind of amazing because it's not, it works entirely different. I think I had coat hangers or something. The original one, this one had, he did a really nice job fixing this to do whatever it should do. And that doesn't do that, as usual.
So what happened was he blinks, so you can see, watch this, so he can go down like that. And what happened is I've got very long fingers, and Bob has very short fingers. So we have to adjust it, but we're going to adjust it so that if we have like a longer tube. See, you got it there.
I found it.
So that comes there, so he can talk to the audience, growl, get mad, and then he can do that feature. I've got that on this guy down here too. He can lower his brow on the Bigfoot guy. A little fun.
Plus he works so that he doesn't have to sit down all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't reach that stand. So,
ta-da! Pretty good, huh? Laugh, lady. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna take up my friend, Danny Doberman.
what about Danny Doberman?
Well, he's no longer with us. He was in a fight with another dog.
Dobermans are pretty big. What kind of dog was it?
It was a Chihuahua.
How could a Chihuahua possibly cure a Doberman?
I don't know, I think he choked on him. Laugh, lady.
Anyway, that's sort of how you were.
In the years.
I used to scare people into laughing too sometimes.
You gonna laugh? Come on. Ah!
Works, huh?
And he would sing songs, and I would have to use a pitch pipe, so I would blow into the pitch. I actually had a dog whistle, but if you blow into the dog whistle, even though people can't hear it, they'd hear that go. The thing, like, I can hear it, so I couldn't even blow it through. You know, then
He goes, I don't know, I can't really hear. You gotta listen closer. All right. And then you, like that way.
Oh, by the way, I started doing this on TikTok, where you open up the ear so you can listen. You go like this. Whoop, wrong one. Sorry, I got excited. Go like this. So anyway.
Visual gags.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I like him a lot. And then he also, Landon did this for me because he goes, Bob, you have a lot of pictures taken. You should have him so he could be,
Posable.
yeah, thanks for that word. I couldn't think of it. So he actually is, so he just, that's why his legs are like that. But what's cool is, not only will he sit up on his own by his little self, but you could have him hold a sign.
You can adjust his arms. So it's got this cool bendable material that lasts forever. It makes this horrible sound, but it's fine. Hear that?
Oh!
But you can put, you can hold signs or whatever. You can hold a ball or a bone or a chew toy or something, and you can take fun photos with it, which is cool.
Then we forgot this idea.
Yeah.
This idea was, I thought this time after he was done, I thought, in all the cartoons and all the old movies of gangsters, they always have a sidekick. So wait, where's the movie?
And this one's also built where the head can remove. There's two things that operate his ears that actually strand out to the side and hide behind the back there. So the body kind of conceals everything during that performance. We created this little guy here too.
Hey, killer. Yeah, boss, what do you want? See that guy that was caught on that lady over there? Yeah. Take him out. You mean? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, boss. See ya.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what it is. It's like,
Yeah, whatever you want. What do you want, boss? Shut up.
anyway. So he's like the lackey guy from the guy that does stuff, or gopher. That's, but you can't say gopher because then people think he is a gopher. Hey, where are we going? Where are we now?
We're at 4-6.
Okay, so did we leave anything out? Oh, the Sasquatch.
Talked about the Sasquatch, yeah. I wanted to build something, there's a few ideas for the Sasquatch here. You could make him a social media influencer who never properly had his photo taken right, so he's the one saving it now. 3 people in here that know about Bigfoot, that's funny. But there's a lot you can do with him, and he's a fun little guy, little character here. You can always dress him up and make him like a magician, make him part of your magic show or whatever. Magic Sasquatch. I don't think that's been done before, right, Bob?
I don't think so. I like the guy in the forest that does Sasquatch and plays the saxophone in one of those outfits. Do you like that guy?
I do.
He's actually a good saxophone player.
Great saxophone player.
Yeah.
Yeah, that insurance commercial with the lady's talking to Bigfoot. She's like, you know what? Thank you, Bigfoot. And he looks at her and he goes, my name's Kenny. So yes, I love designing these guys and working with people and creating just out of the box stuff. I built a lot of puppets for Terry Fader, who is at New York, and Las Vegas, and working events and performers all over. And I have a few orders when I get back too. That'll keep me busy and are always fun.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit about voices and how people can come up with a few go-to voices if they're just now starting or if they want to try something new?
Well, a lot of things don't have to come from, like I do from cartoons or something else, but it can come from those things. And it doesn't have to be exact. You just need a base to start from. and then go from there. So that's one way to do it. The other one is to find people that are in your neighborhood, like the guy goes, "Can I borrow a cup of sugar?" You know, that guy goes in there, "Can I borrow a cup of sugar?" And then you go, "That's pretty funny, actually." Did you start doing, "Can I borrow a cup of sugar? Can I borrow a cup of sugar and something else? Can I borrow anything? Can I use your lawnmower again?" You know, that kind of thing. And it goes on and on. And the other one is to do different, I forgot to mention this last time. I like to do it from air going in and air going out. That's kind of interesting. So if you could do like, I bet you that kid could do it. Send that kid over here. What's your name?
Yep.
Come here, I bet you could do this.
There we go.
Sit down here. You do this, I'm going to do a seagull. See if you can do it. The air goes in, so it goes like this. That's good. So now take that voice, that sound, and do it again. Right? Now do it and talk with it.
Oh, hi there. How are you doing?
There you go.
Put the microphone there.
Oh, hi there. How you doing? My name's Jeff. It's very nice to meet you.
You're breathing in, so it's
Yeah.
It's different, but
kind of hard after a bit.
Man, you can talk like that all you want.
It's kind of like that squeaky.
Kinda, yeah. So you can do the same thing going out. You ever do going out?
Yeah.
You ever do anything going out?
Yeah.
Oh, hi there. I guess this is
Hello. Version of it. Hi there. This is breathing out. It's kind of quiet, but it's the best I can do.
Yeah, see, but he just did two voices that you wouldn't have done otherwise, had I not mentioned that, correct?
Yeah, kind of. I would never do this for a puppet unless its throat looks bad.
Or what if it was really old, though?
Something a little more like this.
Yeah, well, where are you taking that from?
Just a stereotypical old man.
Oh, yeah, sure, everybody sounds like that. Thanks a lot, though.
Yeah, give it
I just saw that from doing dogs. You did dogs, Liz?
Yes, I
Your
do
dog
dogs.
bark. What's your dog bark?
My dog bark?
Yeah. Is that air going in or out?
Hey, I take air in whenever I need it.
Is air going in, correct?
I don't do it that technique that way at all. So to me, it's not a matter of breathing in or breathing out. I think to do a ventriloquial voice, you need plenty of air to push and not to damage vocal cords. So that's my take.
Okay, well, I did it different ways, so I've heard
Tell me about it.
people like that, but going in is really, I think sounds more like.
Sounds more or less like it. Yeah, you can go higher with it too. Yeah, I'll try it, everyone. We got a little kill going on.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for being here today. Oh, gosh! Yeah.
And give yourselves a round of applause.
What's that?
Yeah, that's what you went to the dogs.
It's supposed to go to the dog.
All right. You don't have to leave, but you can stay overnight. If you have your food's on, we'll just sleep.
Anybody you like do like a Joan Rivers type of New York woman voice?
I'm not really good at doing women's voices because mine isn't really high enough.
I have an old lady character named Patty, but she doesn't sound like Joan Rivers. She sounds like she's been smoking for years. So she's got a gravelly voice. How are ya? I'm so good to see ya. And then she cracks and goes down.
Almost Phyllis Diller, but an Irish Phyllis Diller.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The only female character I did was, I did for a dodo bird, and I made her sound like Monty Python in drag, so it would be like, "Hey, nice to see you! Look at that, there's a penguin on the thing!" You know.
But you can take a lot of inspiration from voices from cartoons. But the thing is that, sometimes when you try to copy a cartoon voice, you don't get it quite there. As a ventriloquist, because the way you breathe is different and how much air you can get out through your technique. But sometimes that works in your favor, and you can explore and find an entirely different voice than you would have ever done.
But you have something for your base that you had to start with. So you had something to start with first that could help you get there.
Yeah.
Before you did get there. Yeah. Okay.
We're done. Oh, this is good.
Hey guys.